So, you are poodling along briskly in your automobile on a rainy Monday morning in the United Kingdom, when you are presented with what is commonly known in the industry as a jolly great big bloody puddle. Now, what is one to do in this situation? Well, this useful public service announcement video will give you all of the information you need should you be presented with such a scenario. Stay safe, and God save the King.
If you haven't seen one of these videos in the last 12 months, you must be living under a rock.
Was it work? No.
Big shout out to AdamC for giving me permission to use some of his clips in my video. I will put the full video link at the end. Now, with all the crazy weather we've been having in the UK, it's got me wondering, what's wrong with people? Why do people think their cars are submarines? So I decided to make this video to break down the rights and wrongs of driving through deep water, what you should and shouldn't do, and what the ramifications could be.
Steep. Sketchy, but I think he's gotten away with it. Although, no, that's dead or dying. It's struggling.
So why shouldn't we drive through deep water? First of all, water is heavy stuff. It's very hard. If you've ever done a belly flop, you know how that feels. Doing a belly flop in a car, it's going to cause damage. It can rip off your bumpers, it can rip off trims, your under tray, cause serious cosmetic damage. You don't need that drama, trust me, not worth it.
Wait, what is that? Is that his under tray? That is an under tray, there we go.
Secondly, your car is not waterproof. It's water resistant, it can deal with rain. All you have is a small piece of rubber around the edge of the door to stop water from coming in. Trust me when I tell you, you submerge that in water, it is coming in no matter what. This isn't James Bond. We cannot dunk this thing. Number 3, especially for smaller cars, they can and will float. If you drive a small car into 2 or 3 foot of water, it will start to float initially, which means the wheels will come off the ground, you will no longer have drive, and you're going to be bobbing around like an idiot in a puddle with a bunch of people taking Snapchat videos of you.
Oh, that's a bit quick, a little bit too quick. Oh, she floated. Oh no.
It's a floater.
It is a floater.
Once it starts floating, you have 2 options. First option is wait till water eventually gets in and the car sinks to the ground and you can drive it out. Okay. Second option is YOLO, open the door, let the water in, car will sink and you can possibly maybe drive it out. I don't know, I wouldn't do it, but yeah. That can happen.
It is pretty awkward when all eyes are on him and he's taking his shoes off and he's going in. Oh, there we go. He's now moist.
And most importantly, the big engine problems you can have from driving in deep water. First of all, electronical. Your ECU in most cars is right in the front of the engine, or it can be in the back, but it will be in the engine bay. An ECU, and I repeat, an ECU is not waterproof. They're water resistant, they're splash resistant, they can deal with your usual rain, your weather and whatnot. They are not waterproof. If you dunk one, that is it. You might as well throw the car in a bin, it'll be bricked. It's not gonna do anything you want it to do. Your fuse box, you've got fuse box and relay boxes underneath your engine bay. Once again, they are not waterproof. They're designed to take rain, little splashes. They're not designed to be dunked. When you have water gushing right over the bonnet, it's going straight into all these components. Again, big money repairs.
Oh dear. Oh no, oh dear, it's...
These are labor-intensive repairs. Trying to diagnose electrical problems with water damage is an absolute minefield and it can take days, if not weeks, to get a car running right again. You may have to replace whole entire wiring looms, engine modules, components, even the whole ECU. Then we have the number 1 point, which I want to debunk today, which is Hydrolock. So let's go back to the office and I'll tell you all about it.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Don't start it again.
Oh.
Don't start it. Stop.
Ooh.
That knock.
Oh.
That was a knock.
That was a knock.
That is now.
The car's now 5 HP, 5 human power.
What is Hydrolock? Hydrolock is when an engine ingests water and it causes the engine to completely lock up instantly. In order to understand how this can happen, you need to understand the basics of how an engine works. An engine is essentially a big air pump. There are 4 main principles of how an engine works, which is suck, squeeze, bang, blow. Behave yourselves. The suck is basically the engine has to breathe in air. It's sucking in air from the outside. Whether it's turbocharged, supercharged, it's all the same thing. It has to draw air into the cylinders somehow. Squeeze, now this is the important part. The piston squeezes the air in the cylinder. It does this to create a better combustion and therefore translate into power. Now, water cannot compress. So when the piston comes up in the cylinder to squeeze the air, if there is water inside that cylinder, it has nowhere to go, and the piston slams into it like it's slamming into a brick wall, and basically, sorry Napa, that energy has to go somewhere. It's gonna find the weakest link. It might blow out through the valves, it might break the piston, it might break the conrod, it might break the engine block, it might break the crank. But either way, that energy has to go somewhere. It has to escape that cylinder. And this is where catastrophic engine failure occurs. People that think, oh, it's fine, if I rev it, it will just blow the water out. That's not the case. If there's enough water in that cylinder, it will not be able to compress. It will simply break your engine.
Thumbs up.
What do you do if you have Hydrolock? Or you think you have Hydrolock? Or you've driven through deep water and your car stalls out? What is the right thing to do? Now, personally, I would recommend you call recovery. Your recovery guy is going to turn up and say,
it's not looking good, Bev.
But he'll get you home or get it to a garage and get it repaired properly. If you really live the thug life and you want to sort it out yourself, there are a few things you need to do. Number 1, you need to take your air filter out. It's likely that air filter is going to be filled with water, it's going to be soggy, there's no point using it. Take it out. If it's wet, throw it in the bin. There's no point having it back in the engine. You can drive without it if the engine still works. Secondly, you need to remove your spark plugs. Take all 4, 6, 8 spark plugs out of the engine and take the coil packs off. This is a very, very important step. Remove the spark plugs and also disconnect your injectors. And if you have a diesel, you'll need to remove your injectors, but I don't recommend doing that on the roadside. Crank it over, and what it will do is the pistons will fire the water outside of those cylinders through the spark plug holes. There's no compression, so there's no risk of damage in the engine. Then you can put the engine back together. Hopefully, if you haven't already caused damage, your engine may restart. That's the only thing you can do. If that doesn't work, you're going to see a garage. You're going to see Mr. Mechanic. How can you stop it happening in the first place? Like I said at the beginning, if you can avoid deep water, absolutely avoid it. Turn around, go the other direction, find another route. If you cannot avoid it, you must drive slowly, walking pace. You don't want that water sloshing over the top of the bonnet, over the grills of the car where the air comes into the engine. You want that water to stay down, stay low, stay towards the wheels. So driving through it as slowly as possible, walking pace, slow walking pace. If it's not too deep, you should be okay. But even then, you're always going to be running a risk. I hope this video has been helpful. On to the next project.
Yeah, he's done it.